What if I told you that the tank build everyone's been using in Block Tales is actually completely wrong, and there's a hidden strategy that makes you nearly invincible while dealing massive counter damage? In this video, I'm going to expose why traditional defense stacking is dead in Demo 4, reveal the game-changing tank build that's dominating the meta right now, and show you the exact card combinations that will prepare you to be unstoppable when Demo 5 drops. But first, let me show you the devastating mistake that 90% of players are making with their tank builds. Because this single error is the difference between surviving one hit and becoming literally unkillable. Picture this scenario. A player loads up with every defense card they can find. Defend cards, HP cards, the works. They think they're ready for anything, but then a boss hits them once and their health bar just vanishes. This happens all the time. Demo 4 completely broke the old defense stacking strategy. The developers changed how defense works. Defense now has diminishing returns. Each point of defense you add helps less and less against really strong attacks. When a boss hits you for 50 damage, having 10 defense doesn't cut it in half. The math is way more complicated, and pure defense just doesn't work anymore. But here's where things get really interesting. While analyzing different build combinations, something incredible was discovered that changed everything. When analyzing Thorns cards, most players expect them to be useless, but the data reveals something shocking. Enemies literally kill themselves trying to attack you. Every time an enemy hits you, they take damage back. Thorns cards don't just give you counter damage when you successfully block. They give you automatic counter damage every single time you get hit. The enemy hits you, they take damage back. No skill required, no perfect timing needed, it just works. Most players avoid Thorns cards because they think the penalty is too harsh. Each Thorns card reduces your guard timing by 10%, so 2 Thorns cards makes your blocking window 20% smaller. Wrong, there's actually a card called Safeguard that increases your blocking effectiveness by 10%. So that means 2 Safeguard cards can give you 20% better blocking. This trick completely cancels out the Thorns penalty and actually makes you better at blocking than before. When you use this combination in action, you'll see enemies hurting themselves more than they're hurting you. And this is just the beginning. Once you understand how Thorns really works, you can start building around it. After analyzing every card combination, the math reveals the perfect formula. The ultimate tank build creates layers of protection that work together. Here's the build that's going to make you unstoppable. 2 Thorns cards gives you +2 counter damage every time you get hit. 2 defense plus cards gives you +2 defense, which cancels out the defense penalty from Thorns. 2 Safeguard cards gives you 20% better blocking effectiveness, which cancels out the Thorns timing penalty. 2 Happy HP cards gives you 2 +1 HP every 2 turns. This build uses exactly 18 battle points. Put your remaining stats into 30 HP, 15 SP, and 24 BP total. For weapons, Ice Dagger heals your whole party for 20% of their HP and SP. Venomshank poisons multiple enemies at once. Firebrand deals massive damage while burning enemies and reducing their attack power. You're not just sinking their damage, you're fighting back automatically. Every hit you take becomes a hit against your enemy. But the real secret is knowing when to adapt this build. The data shows that one build can't handle every situation. Against a ranged boss that barely hits you directly, all your Thorns damage goes to waste. You need different versions for different situations. Against bosses that hit really hard but not very often, focus on charged defense. This card gives you 50% defense reduction for 3 turns. For fights with lots of weak enemies, use maximum Thorn stacks. These enemies will hurt themselves trying to hurt you. When playing with friends, add Bodyguard and healing cards. Bodyguard lets you take damage for your teammates and heal them back up. For solo gameplay, HP Drain gives you 1 HP back every time you successfully attack. Combined with the right weapon, you can stay at full health indefinitely. This isn't just one build. It's an entire system. You start with the core Thorns plus Safeguard combination, then adjust based on what you're fighting. The data reveals that tank builds aren't just about surviving anymore. With the right setup, you can actually out-damage pure damage builds in certain situations. Counterattacks add up fast, especially against aggressive enemies, and you're taking way less damage while doing it. The thing is, having the perfect tank build is useless unless you know the advanced combat strategies that separate good tanks from legendary ones. Watch my complete Blocktails deep dive playlist to master the positioning techniques, timing secrets, and resource management strategies that will make you unstoppable in any encounter, especially when Demo 5 arrives.